So Don Wakamatsu's team is at 5 games above 500 after winning the first 2 games of this series. And his starting lineup is presented by M&I Bank. And really haven't had a whole lot of changes going back to game 1. Kenji Jojima was the catcher. Rob Johnson now catches for the 2nd straight game. That is not Mike Sweeney, who is the designated hitter, but he is replacing Ken Griffey Jr., who is the designated hitter in the first 2 games of the series. So Bruce Chen still looking for a victory. Last time he won was October the 2nd of 2005. He won at Tampa Bay when he was pitching for Baltimore. So since his last win, he's made 53 appearances and 19 starts. Strike 1 to Ichiro Suzuki. 4 hits in the series for Suzuki, including opening the series with a home run off the right field foul pole. That was in the first game of the series. He has scored 5 times in the first 2 games and driven in 3. One ball, 2 strikes. .83 degrees again, same as last night. We started on time at 7:10 Central Daylight Time. Official time and temp presented by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. Still 1-2 on Suzuki. Bruce Chen coming off his best start since becoming a Royal. On Saturday at Tampa Bay, giving up 3 earned runs in 6 2/3 innings. But the Rays ended up winning that game 7-1. Bloomquist at second base tonight. Throws out Suzuki, 1 down. Rest of the Royals defensive alignment as DeJesus in left, Meyer in center, and Josh Anderson in right. Callaspo's at third with Betancourt and Bloomquist up the middle, Mark Teahan at first, and Brian Pena behind the plate. And here's Russell Branyan. He has driven in 4 runs in the first 2 games to go along with 4 hits. No balls, 1 strike. Russell Branyan, the former Cleveland Indian, the former Cincinnati Red, twice a former Milwaukee Brewer. He's played for the Tampa Bay Rays, the San Diego Padres, the Philadelphia Phillies, St. Louis Cardinals, and having the best season of his career in his first year with Seattle.
I think this might be the first time he's ever batted second this many times, Ryan, and that's just a good indication that what they're trying to do is save some, keep away from giving outs away early in the game. Each row gets on. You don't have to give up a bunt. You got a guy that can pull the ball in the hole. You got a first and third, and now you get number 3 hitter, Superman in scoring position.
Good start for Chen. 2 up, 2 down. That's his first strikeout. And Branyan still will strike out. That's the 4th time he has struck out in the series.
Well, that's a real good pitch from Bruce Chen. This is a breaking ball that went right to the outside corner and just got him reaching. And what Chen's going to be working hard to do tonight, Ryan, is keep his pitches down. Keep the breaking ball down, his fastball down, his changeup down, and that'll get him back in deep in the games if he can do that.
Here's Jose Lopez, who has a 4-hit series. He has driven in 3 and has a 7-game hitting streak. Lopez been around a little longer than Billy Butler, but those two have one big thing in common this year. Moving to the number 3 position in the batting order has brought out the best in both Jose Lopez and Billy Butler. 1-2.
He's trying to bat really well so far this year, Ryan. Right now he leads American League with 16 3+ hit games. And when you get that from your number 3 guy, then you can see why he leads the team in RBI also.
Still a ball and 2 strikes. Lopez, back in 2005, had a memorable series here at Kauffman Stadium. The Mariners had just released fan favorite Brett Boone. Lopez, it was the official passing on of the torch from Brett Boone to Lopez. So tough for him with those big shoes to fill, and committed a couple of errors in that series. Bruce Chen strikes out 2 and gets the Mariners in order in the top of the first. Trey Hillman's second game back after tending to a family matter in Texas. Royals facing left-hander Jason Vargas for the first time. And this defense, Saunders, Gutierrez, and Suzuki in the outfield. Beltre, Wilson, Lopez, Branyan on the infield. Rob Johnson behind the plate. 26-year-old Jason Vargas, drafted by the Mariners in the second round of 2004. 3-5 overall, but in his last 5 starts, he's winless and has an ERA of 7.94. This is a struggling pitcher on the mound tonight. He has not won a game since June the 20th. And he's low on David DeJesus. 1 hit for David in the first 2 games, but he's reached with a walk, and twice he's been hit by a pitch. Two balls, no strikes. Vargas on Friday took a loss at Texas, giving up 5 runs in 5 innings, a couple of home runs. And he's fallen behind 3-0. And a good start for the Royals, a 4-pitch walk, so DeJesus is on. And now Willie Bloomquist. And let's find Joe Goldberg.
Get them all in there, but how nerve-wracking was that? $1 million.
Oh, a bit, just a tiny bit. It was very, very nerve-wracking, but the people here have been great, been very supportive. So thanks to host us. So it was a blast.
And you know the nice thing too, if you don't get any in, $5,000 and a great vacation, 3 days and 2 nights with the family in Kansas City.
Yeah, and they were kind enough to extend it, so we're staying through until Sunday and get a chance to visit all the sites here in the great town. So It's fun.
All right, well, very nice. All right, so tell me about getting. I mean, we see these contests all the time in all the sports, and you know, oh, I could do this, and then you look and you say, man, this is pretty tough.
Yeah. Well, we had entered, and I said this would be so cool, but I just had the shoulder surgery in April, and then the second one in end of June, and I thought this would be great, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I kind of felt good. I hit the target twice, so you know that was a good thing.
We had a good view of that one. Nice call at first base there, as only get one out, not two, so that's good news. You get to come here, and you got to obviously cheer for the Royals now, since you're going to be a resident of Kansas City for the week.
That's correct. I will.
So I mentioned you're an athlete, played volleyball at Indiana, but 2 rotator cuff surgeries. I mean, that's how does one go from there to here on the field at Kauffman Stadium?
Wow, they've been going through doing physical therapy and going out and trying to throw the ball. Got cleared last Friday to throw overhand, so you can see there was no heat on the ball. So, we had a lot of fun trying anyway.
Oh, good. Glad to have you here, and great job tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, that is Jeff Faust. Guys, we were talking about it on the pregame show with Split, who, he does have a lot of wins in Royals history, and he said, I'm not sure if I could do that too, but I'm pretty sure Hostess wasn't going to invite me, guys.
Yeah, pick the guy who just had rotator cuff surgery.
2.
1-1 to Billy Butler. So Vargas, after walking to Jesus, getting it out on the fielder's choice from Bloomquist. Billy Butler with 5 hits, a walk, and 4 RBIs in the first 2 games. That breaking ball stayed a little high. Billy in there as the designated hitter tonight. Mark Tien is at first base. And you wonder how much we will see of that now that Josh Anderson is here and the Royals have another outfielder on the roster, a true outfielder. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, I talked to Billy before the game, and I said, Billy, are you doing anything different in the last 10 days and at any time? He said, the only thing I'm doing right now, I'm not even thinking at the plate. I'm just looking for the ball and just trying to hit the ball where it's pitched.
Bloomquist takes off, and Billy drives it to deep left field. Saunders doesn't even move. And why would he?
Well, that's when you know you got it all right there, Ryan. I tell you, for a rookie in left field not to move, he knew right away that you don't have to move on this one. We don't even have to talk about this one either. We can just sit back and watch it like Saunders did it in left field. And you can just tell from his facial expression that he knew he got all of that one.
So he adds to the career high, now 13 home runs this year, and he's driven in 54. And Vargas has had trouble with the long ball. It's the 14th home run he's given up in 73 innings.
Well, you can see right here, this pitch is really just right in Billy's wheelhouse, just right down the middle toward the inner half. And Michael Saunders has watched it. I even move on this, but he didn't even turn to admire it. He just kept facing forward. They're like Buck O'Neill used to say, Ryan, there's something about that sound.
Pena pokes it up the right field side off the barrier wall. 1-2. Brian batting 4th. Martien had been batting 4th. Since Jose Guillen went on the disabled list, at least the majority of the games batting 4th. But with the left-hand pitcher on the mound tonight, Trey Holman putting Brian Pena in that position. And Trey's feeling is, well, he knows Brian's going to give the Royals a good at-bat. Not expecting him to start swinging for the fences or act like a true number 4 hitter. Just do what he's been doing, give the Royals a quality at-bat. And he's done it again. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he just doesn't try to do too much. He'll hit the ball where it's pitched. Right-handed, he wants to hit the ball to right field, and left-handed to left field, and that keeps him on the ball. And all he wants to try to do there is hit a line drive or a hard ground ball.
And a soft liner is over Jack Wilson. So Pena has hit in 6 straight games and adds to his .315 batting average.
That's another pitch that got in. He wants to hit the ball away, so he really got a little long on that swing and kind of jammed himself when he overextended, Ryan, but he was able to get enough of it to hit a little line drive into left field. This is Billy. You know, you can tell when guys are pulling for guys and guys are getting base hits, the game can be a lot of fun.
Pena will stop at second base as Alberto Callaspo singles to right field. So Vargas has faced 5, and 4 have reached.
Well, this is what Alberto does well. 2 right-handers keep it short, higher batting average from that way. And Frank Pena, he just barely got out of the way of that line drive. See how he just kept his head right on the ball. He knew exactly where he wanted to hit it. And all he wanted to say was, Brian, please move.
Now, the Royals have lost the first 2 games of the series, but they've swung the bats well. They've scored 6 runs in each of the first 2 games. And doing so against the team with the best ERA in the American League. Mark Teahen just 1 for 9 in the first 2 games and batting at .282. No balls, 2 strikes.
That's the one pitch right there, Ryan, that's really giving him a lot of trouble. There's that one that's up on his hand. It's really a ball in off the plate. We just can't seem to lay off this pitch. It's just a little too high. You see the plane of his back goes up. So that ball is definitely above his swing. So he's always going to miss that pitch. He's got to get on top of that ball if he wants to make contact.
Well, there's some good news with that. It's that Mark isn't going to have to learn how to hit that pitch. He's just going to have to learn how to lay off that pitch.
Just don't swing at it. I mean, if you have an upswing, you can't chase the ball up and hit it. You got to get on top of it and hit the top of the ball.
Chases a pitch that was up again, and this is a long run for Saunders, sliding across the line. Looked like he slid right by it. Wasn't an easy play, but it was a makeable play once he used his speed to catch up to it.
Well, he got there, Ryan, and had his glove above his head, but like you said, once you go down, it changes your eye level sometimes and pulls you off the ball, and that's what happened right there. And once you lean back, you got to make sure you keep your hands extended, but when he went into a slide, he just went right by it.
Billy Butler's hit a 2-run home run, and the Royals have Pena at second, Callaspo at first, and now Teahen muscles it past first and up the right field line. Pena coming around to score. Callaspo coming to the plate. And Alberto beating the relay. It's a 2-run double for Teahen and a 4-0 lead.
Right, this is not a pretty swing, but had great results. And the thing he did different there, the ball was in a little bit down. He did a good job of pulling his hands in and getting the good part of the bat to the ball and got it right inside of first base. So check his hands out and see how he pulls his hands in. And he really hits his ball high, almost at the trademark, but he was able to keep it fair by getting his hands inside the ball. And everybody's running right here. Caspo's he's really trying to catch up. Head's going back, but that's a long run from first base.
Well, 27 doubles for Teahen, 38 RBIs. And now he's in scoring position for Mitch Meyer. So Vargas's troubles continue. 7.94 ERA in his 5 starts before tonight, and he's given up 4 runs and getting just 1 out in the first. 0-1 on Mitch. He is 1 for 3. He has walked and scored a run in this series. One ball, one strike, and 26 pitches for Vargas so far. One and two. Hit hard to center. Long run back for Gutierrez. He's got it. Nice play. Tien has enough time to go back to second base and tag and move up to third. So Vargas getting some help from his defense. That saved another run. 2 down.
It was good to see Mitch really drive the ball. He really got extended on this ball and get out over the plate and drove it in the left center field. Gutierrez really made a nice play. Tien did a real good job of just shrinking the distance back to the bag as he closed on the ball and was able to tag and go to third.
And now Yuniesky Betancourt with Tien at third base. 2 hits, 2 runs driven in against his former team for the first time. That's hit hard to left field. Saunders, it's over his head. A 5-run first inning. So Betancourt drives in his 3rd of the series.
He hit a ball like this, Ryan, over the left fielder's head. This ball is scorched right here. Saunders didn't have time to make any type of adjustments. He had to go back, but Betancourt really got extended on this pitch and really hit a line drive that Saunders couldn't catch up with.
And now the first at bat for Josh Anderson, joining the Royals yesterday. Anderson was hitting .242 for the Tigers when he was designated for assignment. To Beltre. Tried to tag out Betancourt. Got him at first. If he did. Royals come up with 5. Butler drives in 2. Tien drives in 2, and Betancourt gets one to the plate. tonight by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Colorado Tourism. Plan your summer vacation at colorado.com. 5-0 Royals. Billy Butler with his 13th home run, driving in 2 of the 5 runs. And now here's former Royal Mike Sweeney, who got a nice ovation when he was introduced. Ken Griffey Jr. was the DH in the first 2 games. Sweeney has been getting most of his at-bats against lefties. One and one against Bruce Chen. Michael spent some time on the disabled list about a month ago, early July, with problems with his back. It was the 9th consecutive season he spent time on the DL. To right field, and Anderson got a late break, but with his speed was able to correct it and run it down.
You know, Michael still has that good power to right field, Ryan. He does a great job of just hitting this ball. It almost like he didn't see it right away. Like he just got down, but he finally spotted it. Then good speed made up the difference.
Ball 1 to Adrian Beltre, who came back from the disabled list before the game on Tuesday, and he is 1 for 10 since coming back. And that's his second hit. Mariners have 1 on, 1 out. That's Seattle's first base runner. Josh Anderson can play all 3 outfield positions, and the Royals want to get a look at him in center, but at least for tonight, and having been away from the game for a while since being designated for assignment by the Tigers, and then waiting around to see what the Tigers were going to do with him. They had 10 days to trade him, release him, try and get him through waivers, and then the birth of his first child. And so Trey just kind of wants to ease him in. He'll play in right field rather than give him the responsibility of trying to cover all the ground in what is one of the biggest outfields in the American League. Woo. 0-2 on Franklin Gutierrez.
Yeah, I talked to him before the game, Josh Anderson, and I asked him, I said, what do you prefer to play? And then when I managed against him in Double-A, he was a center fielder, and he said he still prefers to play center, but with Detroit he played more left field. But with David DeJesus in left, then he's in right field today.
Swung on and missed, but it goes to the screen. So with less than 2 outs, Gutierrez is out. He was running down to first, but first base was occupied. But with a wild pitch, Beltre can move up to second base and talk to his buddy Betancourt and smack him across the face with his batting gloves.
It's almost like Brian Payne was crossed up on that pitch. We take a look at this. He's looking for the ball down, and almost like he's looking for a breaking ball right here. But it's almost like the ball was in the strike zone. It didn't look like it was that difficult to catch. It wasn't like it was really high.
Anderson makes another play, and the Mariners are scoreless in the second. cleanup hitter, Hal McRae, who had the most games at that position, 606. Danny Tartable, who the Royals thought would be the next great cleanup hitter. John Mayberry, the first real power hitter the Royals had, and Mike Sweeney, who also spent many games as the Royals' number 3 hitter. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, a space, A. McRae, B. Tartable, C. Mayberry, or D. Sweeney. Long foul off the bat of David DeJesus, who walked in the first inning.
Well, that's
Frank,
a pretty good lineup.
you played a handful of games at the number 4 position, including in the World Series.
Well, like you said, only a handful. When you look at those numbers there from Hal McRae and John Mayberry and Mike Sweeney and those guys, I mean, wow, I'm torn. I mean, I really liked Big John there when he was here playing for the Royals, and after he left, then Hal McRae stepped in to be the number 4 hitter for quite some time. But man, can I take the 5th?
No, we don't pay you to take the 5th. People now are leaning their ears toward their television sets, wanting to know what you think.
Well, folks, what I think, I'll take Big John.
Still 1-2 on DeJesus.
You think they're really straining their ears, right?
Yeah, they are straining to hear.
This is a great, you call it.
Well, Danny Tartable didn't quite pan out the way the Royals hoped he would be, although he did some pretty impressive things as the Royals cleanup hitter.
For a few at bat, he can do more on a few at bats than a lot of hitters I've ever seen. He can drive in runs quick.
Wilson throws out to Jesus from behind second base. Royals batted all 9 in the first inning against Vargas. Billy Butler hit a 2-run home run. Mark Tien a 2-run double, and Unieski Betancourt driving in a run with a double. And now Willie Bloomquist reached with a fielder's choice in the first inning and scored on the Billy Butler home run. The Royals, even their outs tonight, have been well struck against Vargas. In this case, the foul balls are hit hard. Outside, 1-1. That's hit hard to short, but right to Wilson. 2 down in the second inning. Coming up on Saturday with the Oakland A's in town, the first 20,000 fans are going to get this Frank White replica Hall of Fame figurine. Game time is 6:10. The outfield gates are going to open at 4, so you can come on out early, check out the brand new outfield experience, and get part 3 of the 4-piece collectible set. It is on Saturday. Two and 0 to Billy. Long 2-run home run in the first inning to left field, almost hitting the Royals Hall of Fame on the fly. Three and 0. Also homered last night.
Looks like the same identical swing.
Left field. Look at that.
Was that me or you?
That wasn't me.
4-pitch walk, and the second walk given up by Vargas. Well, even though Don Wakamatsu's team has won the first 2 games, this has not been a kind series to either team's bullpen. Royals used 3 relievers last night. So did the Mariners in game 1. Both teams used 4 relievers. And the way Vargas is going, it looks like it might be a an early call to the bullpen tonight. Brian Pena singled to left in the first inning and scored on Tien's 2-run double. Into center. Gutierrez first step was back and comes up to make the catch, and after giving up 5 in the first, Vargas has a scoreless second. Five runs in the first inning for the Royals. The first time they've scored 5 runs in the first in 2 years. It was August of 2007 when the Royals scored 5 against the Tigers and won the game 5-0. That was all they needed.
That makes a frustrating night for the hitters. You score 5 runs in the first and you don't get any more runs the rest of the game.
Ball 1 on Rob Johnson. Two hits, 2 runs scored for Johnson last night. Kenji Jojima started the game on Tuesday. Bruce Chen has already struck out 3. Had 2 in the first inning, striking out Brandon and Lopez, and got Gutierrez in the second. Two and 1. Now Bruce Chen with the 5.73 ERA coming in tonight, so it's hard to use run support as an excuse for him being 0-6, but that has been part of the problem for him. Shallow left field to Jesus. Got the plate on a bounce. Well, it skips away from him, but Johnson content with a single and the leadoff man on. Royals have scored an average of 2.3 runs in support of Bruce Chen in his 7 starts. So again, the high ERA, but then again, the Royals haven't really given him a whole lot of runs to play with. Here's tonight's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison, and there is a good comparison between these two. More finesse type lefties and power lefties. That's where they topped out in the first 2 innings. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. And Saunders to Tien on the bag and no play at second base.
This is a good pitch from Bruce Chen right here. Got really in on Sanders' hands, and right here Mark opted to tag the base first rather than go to second first. But it's good that he just decided to just get 1 out and then try to make too much out of that play.
especially in a 5-0 game. At this point, you'll just take outs, right?
You got to count outs, right, Ryan? I tell you, double play guys, usually they play a little deeper in situations like this. You just start counting outs after a while.
Ichiro Suzuki grounded out to second base in the first inning, leading the American League with a .364 average and 159 hits. And a shallow left. Johnson didn't read it well. He'll only move up to third base. That may have cost Suzuki an RBI. Catcher Johnson not the fastest, and he's kind of grimacing at himself that he didn't read that better. First and third, one out.
It's such a hard swing to explain too, Ryan. This ball's inside, and he just pulls his hands in and still forces that ball to left field. And like we said, Johnson didn't read it well, but David got on the ball pretty good too.
You know, Frank, the good hitters hit it where it's pitched. It's an old baseball saying. If it's outside, hit it away. If it's inside, pull it down the middle, up the middle. But it seems like Suzuki at times comes to the plate and he's already decided where he's going to hit the ball no matter where the pitch is.
I think he really just wants to get that running start and hit the ball to the right side, to the shortstop side of the infield, and just get the base hits there on the left side. Then when you get a man on second, or maybe a man on first, then he's able to look to pull the ball. He can pretty much do whatever he wants with the bat.
Branyan struck out swinging in the first. Royals have struck him out 4 times in the series, and the league has struck him out 115 times. So he's having a career year as far as home runs and RBIs, but he still is going to collect a high number of strikeouts.
Well, if he can lay off the high fastball, he can cut his strikeouts down, but that pitch looks so good to him.
Suzuki is out at second base, going on first movement. Caught stealing 1-3-6, 2 down.
Ichiro's just truly guessing right here. He's going first move, and Etienne does an outstanding job, right, of just turning to the inside and getting rid of that ball down the Betancourt. You figure with Rob Johnson's speed at third base, it wouldn't be a double steal in progress. It's just a straight steal, try to stay out of the double play.
Etienne dealing with that corner of the dugout suite and reaches over the railing, and that's the inning. 2 hits, no runs for Seattle in the third. Suffering from a life-threatening disease, she was eligible for one wish from the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri, and instead of having it granted for herself, this remarkable 12-year-old from KCMO chose instead to donate the monetary equivalent of her wish to a local Kansas City food pantry. Wow. Iasco on the second pitch of the inning. Lines out to short. Alberto singled and scored in the Royals' 5-run first inning. So Vargas starting to settle in. 5 runs, 5 hits, faced all 9 in the first. And now he's retired 5 of the last 6. Martin had a big role in that big inning with a 2-run double, and then scored himself on a Betancourt double. One and one. Reaching out and lining to center field. So 2 lineouts for Vargas in the 3rd inning. Fox Sports Kansas City and the Royals present a special Royals telecast on Saturday when we recognize American troops serving overseas throughout the game. Troops worldwide will watch the game on the American Forces Network and will connect with men and women of the Missouri National Guard based in Afghanistan. If you're planning to be at the game at Kauffman Stadium on Saturday or watching Fox Sports Kansas City, help us send a message of appreciation of their dedication and service. Two-0 on Mitch Meyer. Flied out to deep center in the first inning. It took a great play by Gutierrez to get him out. Three and one. That is a 3rd walk allowed by Vargas. It'll be interesting to see how the Royals finish up this homestand, because they are seeing almost all lefties. And game 1 of this series, Ryan Roland Smith pitched. Last night, another lefty, Luke French. Tonight, Jason Vargas. Tomorrow, a right-hander, Vin Mazzaro, will pitch for the A's. But then on Saturday and Sunday, the A's are going to run out lefties Brett Anderson and lefties Gio Gonzalez. That's 5 left-hand pitchers the Royals will face in a 6-game homestand.
If you're a right-handed hitter, you're happy. If you're a left-handed hitter, you're not.
Well, both sides have been happy tonight with 5 runs in the first inning. One and two. Royals are just 1-10 at Kauffman Stadium since the All-Star break. And now Meyer taking off, dropped by Branyan. Meyer steals second base. Meyer thought he was out. He stopped halfway and then continued on when Branyan couldn't secure it.
Well, it looked like he thought he was going to get a rundown after that. And luckily, he stayed with it long enough to see the ball drop and then continue into second base. He's going first move. Vargas makes a nice throw. Brandon, a perfect throw to Brandon, chest high, but didn't make the transition. And it goes back to that, you got to catch it before you throw it. And when you're not used to playing first base, the one thing most times you just get in a hurry, and and that's enough to cause you trouble there.
Beltre throws out Betancourt, and the Royals are down in the third inning, but have a 5-0 lead. Bruce Chen has struck out 3, including Lopez back in the first. Here's the Arby's pitch by pitch.
Well, what he does here, Ryan, he kept the ball down the first 2 pitches, got a foul ball, but he came back and got the strikeout. But the thing he did really well was just basically just kept the ball down at bat.
Show you the final pitch of that sequence. Lopez nearly just homered to left field. No balls, 2 strikes. Chen with a chance to strike him out again. One ball, 2 strikes.
Well, these are the last 2 pitches of this at bat. This strikeout. This is fastball up and away, and then another fastball out on the outer half the plate up.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Meyer fading back in center field, and Lopez is 0 for 2. Royals baseball brought to you tonight by the State of Missouri Tobacco Quit Line. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Ball 1 on Mike Sweeney. Lined out to right, first time up. Sweeney in the top 10 in Royals history in at bat, runs, hits, doubles. He is second all time in home runs to George Brett. He's in the top 10 in RBIs, batting average, walks, total bases, and second all time in slugging percentage. And that ball's hit hard to left field. DeJesus is back, and Mike Sweeney, it's the 100th home run of his career at Kauffman Stadium.
Well, you can tell by the applause that Mike Sweeney still has a lot of fans here in Kansas City, and that was a milestone home run for him right there, Ryan. And he's all smiles on the bench, and this is an 87-mile-an-hour cutter they just threw right in there, and Mike just dropped the bat head on it, and he knew right away that it was gone.
And that's between Carrasco and Betancourt. So with one out, the Sweeney home run, and Beltre is 2 for 2. You call it, presented by Sprint. Who is your favorite Royal cleanup hitter? And Sweeney is 2 points behind Hal McRae, who is a world champion cleanup hitter. Although was he batting fourth at that time in '85?
He batted fourth up until the World Series.
Okay. Did you bat fourth the whole series? Okay.
All 7 games.
I remember, of course, the home run as the number 4 hitter. That was in St. Louis. To get my facts straight now, the second home run by a number 4 hitter in World Series history by a second baseman. And the first was Jackie Robinson, right?
No, we were the only 2 second basemen ever bat fourth in all 7 games of the World Series. Now, the home run itself, I'm proud of the home run now. That was one of those ones where Tito Landrum did like Michael Saunders. He just kind of stood there.
Now Gutierrez pokes it to shallow right. Anderson's going to have to play it on a bounce. And Beltre first to third. Anderson's showing off a pretty good arm. Beltre wasn't expecting that play to be that close.
Well, when you got speed, you can close on the ball fast, and it'll definitely make your arm a lot better and make it appear to be a lot better. He gets on this ball quickly. And just nice, quick arm. Nice one-hop throw. And Beltre's probably wondering, how did that happen? Yeah, when Willie Wilson played left field, Ryan, he didn't really have a strong arm either. And the thing that he was just so fast that he would close on a ball in a base hit that it would just put him right in a good spot where his arm was really looked like he had a strong arm. And the gold glove that he won was from left field.
So it's 5-1 Royals, in first and third, one out. And Jack Wilson, who flied out to Anderson in the second inning.
When Jack Wilson bunted last night, he said that he got that idea from Rusty Kuntz when Rusty was with Pittsburgh. He said it's just a good way to keep him hitting into a double play, and you help your ball club and you get an RBI at the same time.
Meyer coming up, Beltre tagging, and Meyer's throw is going to be cut off. Now Gutierrez was caught, but nobody was covering first base. There was nobody to cover first base. He was past halfway to second when Tian cut it off, but there was no one to throw to.
Well, the only person possibly could have gone there would be Blomquist from second base. Normally, when you're playing second, any base hit to right field or up the middle, you're gonna go to first base on that play.
So it's 5-2 as Jack Wilson drives in his second since becoming a Mariner. Rob Johnson singled his first time up.
Willie's been playing strictly outfield for quite a while, and you get back on the infield, and you got to reacquaint yourself with all the things what your responsibilities are when you get over there. So it's not that easy to play that many positions and remember every single thing that you're supposed to do.
Well, because of injury, the Royals have had to shuffle guys around all over the field, but it's been a long time since the Royals have had 3 true outfielders in the outfield like they do tonight. Mark Teahan is a true infielder. He's a little bit out of position at first, although he can play first base and is pretty good at first. Willie Bloomquist is a natural second baseman. Yudieski Betancourt, a natural shortstop. Alberto Callaspo can play third base, and Brian Pena is a natural catcher. It's been a while since you could say a natural player is at his natural position, or as many Royals as there are tonight.
Well, especially about the outfield. I know Rusty Kuntz is probably the happiest guy in the ballpark tonight because he's got guys out there that he doesn't have to worry too much about. And you watch when Willie's out there, you have a lot of looks side to side to make sure that they know who's going to get the ball. If they don't look, then they end up almost running into each other. So Rusty's comment was, give me 3 pure outfielders and you'll see a different type of baseball.
Betancourt flips to Bloomquist, and that's the inning, but the Mariners get back into the game with 2 in the 4th inning.
School. Sister taught my kids in elementary school, and she's 80 years young, and she's still substitute teaching at St. Regis School. But if you look at the final run scoring in Game 6, in the highlights, you'll see her in a Royals jacket jumping up and down. She may be the Royals' best fan ever.
Really? Well, she's got her bag of peanuts. She's settled in.
Well, she came in, she gave me a phone call. I looked down, I waved to her, and I had Kel, one of our sound engineers, I autographed the baseball and had him deliver it to her. So she's feeling real good tonight.
Anderson lays down a good bunt. What a concept. Well, the Royals eventually might want to see if he can be a leadoff hitter with his great speed, and leading off the inning lays down a bunt.
All right, this is what he did in Double-A all the time, and he's got the ability to be this kind of player, and just about with playing time, maybe just taking a few more pitches, working deep counts, improving his on-base percentage. But one thing he can do, he can bunt and he can run.
That's his 4th bunt hit of the season. I've been watching the Mariners lay down bunts for base hits all series. David DeJesus. It's catching on.
What a novel idea. Well, the thing about faking bunts is you get the defense to move in a little bit and give you a chance to hit the ball by him. But if you let them sit back and just play a comfortable game, then you're never going to get many base hits because they're relaxed. You haven't taken them out of position. Their mind's not working on anything but just waiting for you to hit the ball to them. So if they think there's a chance, it really helps you.
Now Anderson takes off and is out at second base. We get throw by Johnson. Anderson thrown out for just the 3rd time this year.
You see that he just didn't get that hand quite in there right before that tag was made on the shoulder. A real good throw by Johnson. Had a good pitch to handle out over the plate.
Now, this will sound strange because he was thrown out, but that was a pretty good display of his speed because he did not get a great jump against a left-hand pitcher, but still almost beat that throw to second. A slower runner, and that runner is out by a mile.
Well, if he goes first move, he probably beats it, but he wanted to make sure that Vargas went to the plate before he took off. And you're right, he did gain a lot of ground after that pitch was on its way to the plate.
3-2 to DeJesus, who has walked and grounded out tonight. Vargas gave up 5 in the first, and now working on a 3rd consecutive scoreless inning. Two down. Fans of Royals and Farmers Insurance will salute uniform heroes, including military, police, and fire personnel. That's coming up this weekend. Uniform heroes can get half-price tickets for all 3 games against Oakland at the stadium box office. We'll salute the military on Saturday, August 8th, and honor police and firefighters on Sunday. 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com for tickets. Bloomquist 0 for 2, but he scored a run. Almost hit on the foot, 2-0. So Willie back to his natural position at second base tonight, but that's a position that he hasn't seen a whole lot of time at this year. He was fighting for that position in spring training, going up against Alberto Callaspo and Martin.
Well, he's been a long way from second base for quite a while.
Beltre down to a knee and throws out Bloomquist. Another scoreless inning for Vargas. runs coming in the first inning. It's also Josh Anderson, Royals debut. We've seen a little bit of everything from him on defense, showing off his arm and laying down a bunt. Here's the catch he made on Mike Sweeney.
Well, that was really a catch-up play right there where he just had to read it, outrun it, catch it, and this is a good example of how well he can bunt. And I think this is just part of the excitement that he brings to the Royals, and I'm sure that everybody's looking forward to seeing a little bit more of that.
He's in right field tonight. The Royals expect to see quite a bit of him in center field, but Trey Hillman wanted to ease him in after having a long time off since his last game with the Tigers. One and one on Michael Saunders, who grounded out to first in the third inning. Bruce Jen with 3 scoreless innings and then gave up 2 runs in the fourth. Mike Sweeney homered. Jack Wilson driving in a run with a sac fly. For Mike Sweeney, it was the 100th home run of his career here at Kauffman Stadium. Full count. Jen hasn't walked anyone yet. He has struck out 3. All 3 of his strikeouts in the first 2 innings. That's hit hard into right field. Saunders with his 5th hit of the series. He has a couple of bunts for base hits. That was in game 1 in the Mariners 7-6 win, and then Seattle winning last night 11-6. And up comes Ichiro Suzuki. Singled his last time up, his 160th hit of the year, and grounded out back in the first. Ball 1.
That's like Eddie Rodriguez about Ichiro Suzuki. He said he has his own game plan every day. He said he had this special time that he goes to the batting cage. His interpreter is actually the guy that flips to him. Then he comes back, put his music on, and gets ready for BP. Then he got his own special weights that he brings from Japan. He said he was in there messing with him one day, and the interpreter told him, "Hey, you can't use these because you don't know what you're doing. You'll get hurt." And so he said they took him and trained him on Ichiro's weights, and he said they're different than anybody else's weight. But he said his guys are just a hard worker.
Working on his 9th consecutive 200 hit season. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's Bruce Chen's pitch count, brought to you by James B. Nutter and Company. Next pitch will be his 60th, and right at about a 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio. That is through the right side. So Seattle with 2 on and nobody out, and that brings the tying run to the plate and Russell Branyan.
That's the one thing we said earlier about Ichiro Suzuki, Ryan. He wants to hit the ball to the other way to left field, but when you get a man on first base, this is what he looks to do. He looks to try to find something he can pull in that hole and hopefully create a first and third situation. That's what I would call a machine. I mean, he can pretty much do whatever he wants to with the bat, and at times he can really turn it up a notch and hit the long ball when he wants to go for it.
Branyan is struck out and fouled out. Nothing in 2 on Branyan. Well, Suzuki is similar to Wade Boggs. Now, Boggs was a much bigger man than Suzuki, but if Boggs wanted to, he could have hit 30 home runs a year. Ichiro Suzuki, if he wanted to, not very big, but with his bat speed, he could hit 25, 30, maybe more home runs a year. But then again, he wouldn't be hitting 340, 350, 360 like he is right now.
And getting those 200 hits a year.
I remember watching him take batting practice once in Seattle, and he was spraying the ball all around the field, and then just for the heck of it, in his last round, was really airing it out and was hitting balls off of a glassed-in restaurant in the second deck in right field. I mean, one after another. Lays off the curve. It's 2-2.
Eddie Rodriguez was telling me today that after he hit the foul pole in his home run the other night, he came out the next day, and Ken Griffey Jr. said, you can't do that when you want to. And he said okay. Then he hit one and just barely missed the foul pole. And then he says, well, you can't hit home runs. Then he proceeded to hit like 8 straight balls out of the ballpark.
Got underneath it. Meyer getting behind it as Saunders is tagging, and Mitch plays it to second base, keeping the double play in order. So first and third, one out. Branyan is 0 for 3. Here's tonight's Cabot Woodstein legendary performance on this date back in '79. So 30 years ago, the Royals winning 16-12 at Toronto. 17 hits, all singles. Pete Lecoq with 4. Frank had 3. John Mayberry homered in that game for Toronto. Winning pitcher was Steve Mangori out of the bullpen. Losing pitcher was a young Dave Stieb.
John Mayberry was a first baseman on that team in Toronto, along with Tony Salita and also Rico Carter. Yeah, Tony Salita was one of the strongest men I think I've ever seen. He was Samoan, and he had the biggest, strongest hands, and had a real good glove at first base.
Reaching out and foul off the right field line. It's 0-1 on Jose Lopez, who is 0 for 2.
That's a fan that says, I'm not stupid enough to throw the ball back on the field like all these other people.
Or a cat, for that matter. The stadium announcement is going to have to change here at the ballpark. Please do not throw any objects or animals onto the field.
He was bigger than any. He wasn't a regular house cat. he was huge.
Blomquist backhands out at second. Double play. And that gets the Royals out of the 5th. Tonight by Panera Bread. Explore a menu full of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. By AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Billy Butler on base for the third time. Hit a 2-run home run in the first inning. Walked in the second, and now leads off the fifth with his second hit. So Billy is 7 out of 10 in this 3-game series. Tough first inning for Jason Vargas, giving up 5 runs, facing all 9 Royals. But since then has thrown 3 scoreless innings, and the Royals with just 1 hit in those 3 innings. The bunt single from Josh Anderson. One strike on Brian Pena, who's batting cleanup tonight, batting fourth for the first time in his Royals career. 1 for 2. He singled, scored on a Tien double back in the first. And that's into left field, and that'll roll deep. Butler to third. He'll be held there. Pena has a 2-hit game. Second and third, nobody out.
Well, this is just a curveball here, Ryan. It's 73 miles an hour, and he started, he stopped, he recognized it, and then pulled it down the left field line. That's a real good piece of hitting by Brian Pena right there. You know, Billy's digging and looking to score. He picks up Dave Owen right there, and then he breaks it down, but he had his head down, going as hard as he can go.
Mariners will play with the corners in as Callaspo takes high. Here's tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. And only 3 hitters in the American League have a better average than Alberto Callaspo against left-hand pitchers. And right behind him is Ichiro Suzuki. Derek Jeter at 427. Alberto's had a good year overall, hitting at 295 coming into this at bat, but as a left-hand batter, he's hitting 249. So the bulk of his numbers are from this side of the plate. 2-1.
But this side of the plate, Ryan, his swing is just so much shorter. Left-handed, he's a little long, and he kind of drifts away from the ball and forces him to roll over the ball. They were trying to get him to stay back left-handed and hit off his backside, but he just drifts forward, and his arm his swing gets long, and that's why it's better from the right side.
Hit hard to center. Royals had to freeze to make sure that ball was going to drop, so 1 run scores. Callaspo drives in Butler, and the Royals lead 6-2. So 2 more hits for Callaspo from the right side of the plate.
Well, this is this short swing. It just gets right on top of the ball, hits down through the ball, hits a line drive. I think Brian Pena read this one just a little bit better than Billy at third base.
So 3 straight hits to open the inning. And brings up Mark Tien, who drove in 2 runs in the 5-run first. Also lined out to center. And that's pulled to Branyan. It gets through him and into right field. Well, Pena scores. Callaspo to third. And the Royals lead 7-2. That'll be an error charged to Branyan. Tien picks up his 3rd RBI of the game.
Mike takes a long swing. This ball's away. He really actually rolls over on this ball, and this is one of those balls as a first baseman you really want to come and get. You don't want to sit back and let it play you. And he got it in between hop, and it went between his legs. And Brian Pena just just jogs right across home plate on a ball like that. Tien really hustles into second base to get down to second base on that play.
Oh, and 1 to Mitch Meyer. Mitch flied out to deep center on a great play by Gutierrez, and then walked and stole a base his next time up. Down here, no balls, 2 strikes. So 5 runs in the first inning, 2 in the 5th for the Royals, and their second 5-run lead of the game. And getting away from Johnson. Meyer at first was waving home Callaspo, but Alberto got a good read off of that stone wall behind home plate.
Well, I think as a hitter, your first reaction is to wave a guy down because you see the ball go back there. But you have to remember they changed that out back there. They got the stone back there, and the ball comes off right back. That's like a pitch back to a catcher right there. So that was real good heads-up base run and recognition by Callaspo at third base.
The issue that a catcher can have with that stone wall is, yeah, it's hard, but it's texture. So you don't know what kind of a bounce you're going to get. It could hit the same block, and depending on the texture, it could kick to the right, kick to the left, or come right back to the catcher. Mitch still alive at 2-2.
So as a catcher, you really can't commit backwards until you see what the ball wants to do. Your first reaction is to chase the ball, but you almost have to slow yourself down to see exactly what the ball does. You don't want to be running back and have the ball come back over your head, and you be at home plate. You be there and the ball be at home plate.
Broke his bat, and that's going to drop. Wilson has to hurry. Meyer is out. Callaspo scores, and it's 8-2. Meyer drives in his 13th of the year. The Royals have 2 big innings tonight, 5 in the first, 3 in the 5th.
And if you watch this play, watch Callaspo coming down from third base. If Jack Wilson looks home, he's got to play at home plate on this play.
The Royals have scored 6 or more runs in each of the 3 games of this series. With 8 tonight, that's the most the Royals have scored in one game since the All-Star break. So 3 runs home, only 1 out. Betancourt doubled in a run in the first, grounded out in the third. Strike 1 from Vargas. Vargas's overall ERA wasn't bad coming in tonight, 4.71, but if you look a little closer at what he's been doing recently, his ERA was almost 8 in his 5 previous starts. He hasn't won since June the 20th. And wants to have a visit with Rob Johnson before continuing with Betancourt. Don Wakamatsu, a former catcher, and his pitching staff coming into tonight with the best ERA in the American League at 3.94. Again, pulls it to Beltre, who plants and throws out Betancourt. 2 down. Royals baseball brought to you tonight by Bud Select. Full flavor, 99 calories, the exception to the rule. Tien at second base has driven in a run in this 3-run 5th inning. Josh Anderson is grounded out, and he's reached with a bunt single. Johnson thought about throwing down to second base as Jack Wilson trying to sneak behind Mark Tien. This is a part of Josh Anderson's game the Royals want to see improve while he's here, and that is batting against left-hand pitching. Don't get a whole lot of opportunity to do that when he's with the Tigers. Up the middle, Wilson is there, and the low throw is handled. That's the inning. Royals come up with 3 and take a 6-run lead to the 6th. With a 2-run home run. Here's our Coors Light freeze cam, a no-doubter to left field. To the bottom of the windows of the Royals Hall of Fame out in left. Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Well, Billy now with 13 home runs, adding to his new career high. And he has driven in 54 to add to his team lead. Mike Sweeney is also homered. That was in the 4th inning off of Bruce Chen. Michael's 100th home run here at Kauffman Stadium. First time up, lined out to right. He went around. Sweeney wearing number 5, a number he couldn't wear here in Kansas City, but a number he wore in Oakland last year and now in Seattle to honor George Brett and his days with the Royals. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's also one of the subjects of tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint, asking you who your favorite Royals cleanup hitter is. And right now 33% with Hal McRae, 31% Mike Sweeney, followed by Big John Mayberry and Danny Tartable. Mike Sweeney played in 5 All-Star games when he's with the Royals. And he hits it hard to right field again. And Anderson makes the play. So Sweeney 1 for 3 And Chen gets the first out of the 6th inning, pitching with a 6-run lead. It's almost back to school time. The Royals are giving away to 10,000 kids 14 and under a Royals chest protector backpack. It's coming up on Sunday. And if you're out shopping and you end up with extra supplies, bring them to the game. On Friday and Saturday, the Royals wives are having a back to school drive, and they'll be at gates B and C collecting those items. Both of those games, Royals and the Oakland A's. No balls and 2 strikes to Adrian Beltre. Beltre just 1 for 10 in the first 2 games. Tonight he has singled twice and scored a run. Left side. Betancourt can't get it. So Beltre is 3 for 3. And now Franklin Gutierrez, who has singled and struck out. Gutierrez has had a nice series, 5 for 11. Make that 5 for 12, and has his average up to 296. So he continues to reward the Mariners for making him an everyday player. Also had a good defensive play in center field tonight, running down a drive from Mitch Meyer in the first inning. Facing a Royal left-hander here, and Gutierrez, we mentioned this in game 1 of the series, hit his first 3 major league home runs against Royals left-hand pitchers. Andrew Sisco, Jorge De La Rosa, and Odalis Perez. Up the line, on the line, foul. Just barely foul. That ball had all kinds of spin on it. That thing was spinning and whistling like a top and just kicked out of Tien's glove.
It was almost like he had a brick in his glove, and this ball just didn't want to stay in there. Like, where'd it go? I think even Marksy had a smile on that one.
Two and two. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefebvre with Frank White and Joel Goldberg. The Royals in front by 6 in the 6th inning. And Gutierrez still alive at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bruce Chen trying to win for the first time since October of 2005. Since then, he's gone 53 major league appearances, including 19 starts. Got the call on the corner, strikes out his 4th, 2 away in the 6th.
This is really a nice, beautiful curveball here, Ryan, right out of Chen's hand, right on the outside corner, knee high. If he lived in the rest of the game, he'd be happy. It's all about being able to repeat your pitches.
Jack Wilson driving in a run with a sac fly in the 4th inning, and he's flied out to right. Two and 0. Well, Bruce Chen in his last 2 starts prior to tonight, 2 pretty good starts. 2 earned runs in 6 2/3 at Tampa Bay, 3 earned runs in 5 innings at Baltimore. And tonight, and using a new pitch, a cutter. And he's getting closer to his first win since 2005.
Bruce Chen enters the dugout to a lot of high fives from his teammates. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, this is our Sonic Slam inning. And our contestant is Virginia Malone from Belton, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Virginia will win $500. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Virginia will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
1-0 on David DeJesus. The Royals have a home run from Billy Butler back in the first inning. DeJesus 0 for 2 with a walk. Bloomquist and Butler to follow. 2-0. Well, Jason Vargas might be taking one for the team with all the relievers that both teams have had to use in the first 2 games. And after giving up 5 runs in the first, settled down for the next 3 innings, and might expect him to come out in the 5th when the first 3 batters reached and all came around to score. Both teams operating with a tired bullpen. The Royals made a roster move before the game tonight, getting a fresh arm in the bullpen, as Juan Cruz was placed on the disabled list and Doug Wechter came off of the DL. Vargas has given up 8 runs, 7 earned in 5 innings. Gets DeJesus to roll over to Branyan. 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. I want to remind you again about Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp coming up February 1st through the 5th next year at Royal Spring Training Facility in Surprise, Arizona. An all-star lineup of coaches. Frank will be there with George Brett, John Mayberry. Frank will also be joined by Dennis Leonard, Willie Wilson, Jeff Montgomery, Duke Wathen, and whomever else Frank decides to invite. Go to Royals.com if you'd like more information. Up the middle, and Wilson is showing off great range in this series. Gets Bloomquist, and Willie is 0 for 4.
Yeah, Willie just can't seem to find a hole. Every time he hits the ball, someone's standing right in front of the ball, but he's really striking the ball well tonight. And Jack Wilson makes a great play up the middle right there, Ryan. He just does a good job getting his body angled and nice, easy throw to first base. I really like the way he plays.
And Billy off the end of the bat to first, and Vargas has his easiest inning of the night. The end of 6, Royals lead by 6. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Saving Nemo.
Sometimes you just stay out of the way. Rob Johnson leading off the 7th inning. Bruce Chen with a 6-run lead. His season high for innings pitched is 6 2/3, and now he's given the Royals 6 1/3. Slugger in between innings stole that rack of cotton candy away from one of the vendors and running away and just giving out cotton candy. Although Slugger might turn the corner and think he's got a whole bunch of cotton candies on top of that tray, but all he has left is the cardboard cone holders.
That was almost a free-for-all. Slugger almost got hurt.
Bruce Chen only in the mid-80s as far as pitch count, so he's in great shape to not only get the win tonight, but also give the bullpen a break. The Royals have used combined 7 relievers in the first 2 games of the series.
I mean, both teams are probably in the same boat in that area.
Hit hard to right, and Anderson will play it on a hop. Second hit for Michael Saunders, and his 6th in the 3-game series. Budweiser Select will show us what's on tap. The Oakland A's in town Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. The Royals have Monday off, and then begin a long road trip in Minnesota on Tuesday. They'll be there for 3, Detroit for 3, Chicago for 3, and the Royals homestand after that. The Twins and the Indians will be at Kauffman Stadium beginning on August the 21st. Two more hits for Ichiro Suzuki. Back in 2004, he had 262 hits for the major league record, passing George Sisler.
Right, he's 9 points ahead of Joe Mauer, who finished up today at 358. So that's gonna go down to the wire.
You know, with as good as he is, you wonder why Ichiro Suzuki can't get closer to 400. It seems like every time he puts bat on ball, he's going to get a hit. He has such great hand-eye coordination, but the thing about Suzuki, he doesn't walk very often. He gets his share of hits, but in addition to at times being a very disciplined and patient hitter, he also can be a bad ball hitter, hitting a lot of pitches that would seem to be unhittable and turn them into hits. Great save by Pena, 2 balls, 2 strikes. But with that great hand-eye coordination, sometimes a hitter can convince himself he can hit anything, and at times will get himself out by swinging at a bad pitch.
Right, just too good at bat control. He just has too good at plate coverage. And
Willie to the hole, throwing out Suzuki. 2 down as Johnson moves up to second base. Tomorrow is the next Fireworks Friday as the Royals begin a 3-game series with the A's. It'll be Brian Bannister for the Royals, Vin Mazzaro for Oakland. After the game, a fireworks spectacular presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. So Saunders at second base, and Russell Branyan takes strike 1. Suzuki's career high for walks in the major leagues last year was 51. Which is extremely low for a hitter of his style. And when Ted Williams, who was the last hitter to bat 400 when he hit 406 in 1941, he had 147 walks that year. So a little different approach, a little different batter's eye, a little more discipline at the plate.
well, that's a lot of balls he didn't have to put in play to see what will happen. And Ichiro's got that speed that helps him out, and anything questionable he usually beats out, and he makes everybody rush, and he gets base hits when everybody rush and don't get the throw off. So he has all kind of ways to get base hits without just with putting the ball in play, and his walks probably don't even compute. I mean, he might be just one of those rare birds that I'm just going to hit, and if I walk, it's purely by accident.
That ball ends up in the Mariners dugout. Well, you're going to get some good bounces at times if you're a catcher, and the Mariners got one of those earlier in the game. You're also going to get some awkward bounces with the signage board and the stone behind home plate. And Bruce Chen could try that 10,000 more times and not duplicate what he just did. Actually, that hit a pipe and rolled sideways into the Mariners dugout.
Oh my God.
I think that's the pipe where all those bees were earlier in the year. That would be the ultimate play in the game of horse. Throw the ball off the pipe into the dugout.
Got a lot of marks.
Branyan walks, and that's the first given up by Bruce Chen in 6 2/3 innings. With the A's coming in tomorrow night, that's also our next broadcast in high definition. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Royals Live beginning at 6:30. Bob McClure was on his way out, called back, and now we'll go out and have a chat with Bruce Chen as Jamie Wright is warming up behind him. Bruce had a 5-0 lead through the first 3 innings, gave up 2 runs in the 4th. Sweeney homered, Wilson driving in a run with a sac fly, and the Royals adding 3 in the bottom of the 5th. But Bruce Chen is done after 6 2/3 innings, so he ties his season high with 6 2/3, and the Royals go to the bullpen in the 7th. And now relying on the bullpen, hoping for his first win since '05. Fans, don't forget you can download At Bat 2009 for your iPhone or iPod Touch. You get live play-by-play. And for more information, go to Royals.com. So Jamie Wright to face Jose Lopez, who's 0 for 3. Jamie pitched in the game on Tuesday, gave up 1 run in 1 inning. Royals used 4 relievers on Tuesday, 3 last night.
Well, Jamie's last outing, Ron, he had that real good sinker working, but kept trying to force that slider in there, which made him throw a few more pitches than he really had to. But just want to come in and just do what works. You know, right now you need a ground ball. Just get a ground ball and let your defense make the play for you. But don't go for the strikeout.
Also took the loss in that 7-6 Mariners win. Two and one. With 1 out, Saunders singled, and with 2 outs, Russell Branyan walking, and the Royals making the move to bring Jamie Wright in. And jammed badly, bat shatters. Betancourt throws out Lopez, and that's the inning. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals lead by 6. defense from winning his first game since October of '05. Panera takes us around the league, where Cleveland has beaten Minnesota. Detroit over Baltimore, 10th win for rookie Rick Porcello. Angels over the White Sox. The Tigers lead now 2 games in the Central. As Brian Pena takes strike 1. Texas in front of Oakland. Texas 4.5 back in the West. And New York trying to beat Red Sox for the first time this year, and they are way out in front. Brian Pena thrown out by Adrian Beltre. A 2-hit game for Brian Pena, and he scored twice. Rounding out here in the 7th inning against Jason Vargas. So he continues to hit as Trey Hillman continues to give him a chance to prove himself behind the plate now in the season's last 2 months. Alberto Callaspo continues to add to his high average from the right side of the plate. 2 hits, 2 runs, and an RBI tonight. Gutierrez coming up in center field. 4 pitches, 2 outs for Jason Vargas, who's been hit around tonight. He's given up 8 runs on 9 hits, a 5-run first, a 3-run fifth. One of the runs unearned tonight, but he's about to give Don Wakamatsu 7 innings. And if the Royals hang on, Wakamatsu obviously will be disappointed if his team takes a loss, but I think he'll be proud of his 26-year-old lefty who's hung in there for 7 innings.
Well, hung in for 7, giving him an opportunity to get his bullpen back a day's rest and get those guys back in line too.
Tien has driven in 3, doubled in 2 in the first inning, and then reached with an error and driving in his 3rd run in the 5th. The Royals with 8 runs in 2 innings. 5 in the first and 3 in the 5th. One and 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. This could be one of those learning experience games for Vargas. He's not going to be happy with his numbers, but nobody bailed him out tonight. He had to continue to pitch.
Well, you're right, Ryan. And sometimes as a manager, you gotta decide when that time is right to do that.
It's another good play from Jack Wilson behind him, and he does get through 7 and retiring the last 9, but he is down by 6. by Verizon Wireless. 5 in the first inning against Jason Vargas. Butler and Tian both driving in 2. Mike Sweeney homering for Seattle, his 100th home run here at Kauffman Stadium. And Bruce Chen is 6 outs away on defense, that is, from getting his first win since October of 2005. Jamie Wright recorded the final out for him in the 7th inning, stays on for the 8th, and it'll be Sweeney, Adrian Beltre, and Franklin Gutierrez, and Michael holds the first pitch to Yuniesky Betancourt. Sweeney is 1 for 4. Well, fans, everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. Oh, 0-1 to Adrian Beltre. Beltre, 3 hits and a run scored. Oh, 2. Twelfth year in the big leagues for Adrian Beltre, who was called up to the Dodgers in 1998 as a 19-year-old. For most of his career with the Dodgers was considered an underachiever, but it all came together for him in 2004 when he had 48 home runs. He never had more than 23. It also happened to be his free agent year. He has a 4-hit game tonight, and after that got a big contract with the Mariners. Seattle went out and spent a ton of money to bring Beltre and Richie Sexson to Seattle. Felt like they had the pitching, just needed some more offense in the middle of the order, but it never quite panned out the way the Mariners were hoping.
Well, that's always a gamble when you go free agent. You just if you got a strong lineup and you're adding one hitter to that lineup, it usually works a lot better than bringing that one guy in to make the difference when your lineup is not quite strong all the way around. Richie Sexton, he's kind of struggled a little bit. High strikeouts there too, and they never really worked with. And Beltre got off to a slow start there, but those things happen in free agency. It's a gamble.
Chance for 2. Betancourt flipping with the glove. Bloomquist grabs it out of the sky with his bare hand. Royals might have been able to turn a double play if they went the more traditional route.
Well, it's always better when you can take the ball out of your glove and give a firmer throw, especially on a slow roller that's coming in. That's a play that the managers don't like to see. They like to see you get the ball out, get it to the second baseman, and then take a chance. Right here, the ball's already on his right side, which would have been easy to take it out with his right hand, and if Willie gets a stronger throw, that might make a big difference. He kind of threw it like it was hit.
Another kind of little, like a basketball play, kind of a no-look pass. Look one way, flip the other.
I don't think you endear yourself to managers when you make plays like that. I mean, that could have easily just flipped that ball over his head just easily and floated it to him.
2-0 on Jack Wilson.
That's why when I played, I never tried any tricks. There's the guys I played for, Jack McKeon, Whitey Herzog, Jim Fry, all those guys were just, okay, there's some pine time over here if you don't make the play.
Willie will go to the bag himself. Mariners scoreless in the 8th. Royals lead 8-2. said 1,000 words after Betancourt, a little fancy flip with his glove. Royals lead by 6 to the bottom of the 8th. Here's tonight's Mercedes-Benz E-Class attention assist of the game. We go back to the 5th.
Well, this is Willie Bloomquist right here making a nice backhand play, and then really just serves the ball right up to Betancourt. Betancourt seems like he's always running across second base when he makes these double plays. I haven't seen him do the standard double play yet. It seems he's always in full stride, like he's just running and throwing all the time. But that was a play there. You go back to the play that Betancourt tried to make where he flipped the ball out of his glove. That would have been an easy play right there for Bloomquist to do the same thing. But you see, he just took it out of his glove, gave him a nice throw, and got double play.
Here's Doug Wechter getting ready for top of the 9th inning, coming off the disabled list officially today. And Juan Cruz going on the DL, a problem with his right shoulder. Chris Jakubowskis now pitching for Seattle after Jason Vargas went 7, allowed 8 runs, 7 were earned. But as we've said a few times tonight, really took one for the team going that deep, with the Mariners having used 7 relievers in the first 2 games of the series. Meyer is down on strikes. Mitch 1 for 3 as an RBI tonight. And up comes Yuniesky Betancourt. The Kansas City Royals, the state of Missouri, and Fox Sports Kansas City have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Betancourt 1 for 3 with an RBI. Jakubowskis, one of those guys you don't expect to get to the big leagues. He played at the University of Oklahoma, and mostly as a first baseman and an outfielder, did a little bit of pitching. And he claims when he was playing for the Sooners, one day just simply lost his swing. Just could not hit, and was thinking about quitting baseball. His mom convinced him to hang in there and persuaded him to try pitching, which he did a little of for Oklahoma. So he tried out for an independent league, and he spent 4.5 years in the independent leagues. At one point playing for former major leaguer Chris Sabo, and was signed by the Mariners as an undrafted free agent out of the independent leagues in 2007, and now here he is in the big leagues. 4.5 years in unaffiliated minor league baseball. 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. Betancourt 1 for 4.
I've heard guys say they quit because they couldn't hit the fastball. They quit because they couldn't hit the breaking ball anymore. But I've never heard guys, I just lost my swing completely.
Forgot how to hit. I mean, it's just
wow.
Wake up one day and you go, you know, this is hard.
Well, Mom's got to be pretty happy that she talked him into continuing his career, and now he's back in the major leagues.
1-1 on Josh Anderson, making his Royals debut tonight. He's made a nice play in the outfield, showing off a strong arm. And he's 1 for 3 with a bunt single.
Kind of like that old story about the kid who went off to play baseball, and a few months later he calls home and says, "Mom, I'm coming home." And she said, "Well, why?" He says, "They just started throwing curveballs."
One hop, 1, 2, 3. So Doug Wechter coming on for the 9th. Royals lead by 6. from winning the final game of the series with the Seattle Mariners. And after the game, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel Goldberg and Paul Splittorff. Nice to see Joel on the field doing an interview with one of the Royals. Brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. And it's nice to see Doug Wechter back from the disabled list. Wechter making just his 4th appearance for the Royals. And he'll pitch to the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the top of the 9th, and trying to help Bruce Chen get his first win since 2005. Wechter going down with an oblique injury on April the 21st. And Juan Cruz with a right shoulder strain going on the disabled list. Wechter would have loved to come back a little earlier, because on the Royals' last road trip they went through St. Petersburg, and that's where Wechter is from, originally from the Rays organization. And first pitch he throws ends up in left center field, and Rob Johnson with his second hit. Saturday afternoons were made for baseball, and this week Fox brings you the national game of the week as Jason Bay and the Red Sox will head to New York to take on Alex Rodriguez and the Yankees. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 3 p.m. on Fox. So Doug Wechter, growing up in St. Petersburg, drafted by the hometown Rays in the 3rd round in '99. That was the same draft that also produced Josh Hamilton, who never played in the big leagues with Tampa Bay. He was the first overall pick in '99. But the Rays also drafted Carl Crawford. So Hamilton, Crawford, and Wechter were their first 3 picks. Wechter was in the big leagues in 2003. Anderson coming up to retire Michael Saunders, who finishes the night 2 for 4, and Johnson back to second base. Wechter, in his first major league start, it was not his first major league appearance, but his first big league start, it was against Seattle in 2003. Pitched a 2-hit shutout. That was the first player in Rays history to do that in his first major league start. So growing up in St. Pete, pitching in St. Pete, and his first start shutting out the Mariners. Two more hits for Ichiro Suzuki, giving him 161.
He's got pretty good movement on his fastball and keeps the ball down. It sinks and runs down and away from left-handers. But it's almost like a spring training, for we haven't seen him in such a long time, since April.
The Royals were excited to get Doug Wechter. He had a pretty good year for the Marlins last year, 48 games, 3.69 ERA. So he was supposed to be in the new look bullpen along with Juan Cruz and Kyle Farnsworth, with the Royals losing Leo Nunez and Ramon Ramirez. Two and one. After the 2006 season, Wechter had surgery on his right shoulder. Started 07 on the DL as the shoulder was healing, and then last year spent some time on the DL with the Marlins because of the shoulder. 2-2 against Suzuki. And we'll do it again. Well, the best the Royals can do in this series is win 1 out of 3, but maybe a sign of good things to come with the Oakland A's coming to town. The Royals bats scoring 6 runs in each of the first 2 games and 8 runs tonight.
Well, they're long overdue, Ryan. And I tell you, nobody's going to be more happy about this than the starting pitchers. They've had to battle a lot of games where they have very little run support, so they can feel like the bats are coming around, and they'll have a lot more confidence going out on the mound in their next starts.
Brian Bannister will go to the mound tomorrow against rookie Vin Mazzaro, who's 2-8 for the A's. Ichiro Suzuki is trying to see how many foul balls he can hit into the seats off to the third base side. He might be, you never know. The way he can control the bat.
Just want to prolong the night?
Yeah, down by 6. Let's have a little fun here. See how many foul balls I can hit in the seats off to the third base side. There's another one. Bruce Chen, 6 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs. Jamie Wright, an inning and a third scoreless. Wechter has given up a double, and he's gotten a fly out to right. In play, Betancourt throws him out, and over to third base is Johnson. Well, the Royals just 1-10 at Kauffman Stadium since the All-Star break. So the fans having to shake off a little rust as they stand up and cheer on Wechter. The Royals ahead by 6 in the top of the 9th. Branyan to Tien. And the Royals take game 3. Billy Butler with a 2-run home run in a Royals 5-run first inning. Bruce Chen getting his first win since October of 2005. Doug Wechter back from the disabled list, his first appearance since April. The Royals avoid the sweep and win tonight 8-2.
Brian, I haven't seen a line go all the way to second base and work its way back to the dugout. He usually goes right behind the mound and wave. They went all the way out to second base. It's been a while since they had to go out there. So, everybody's happy tonight.
2 big innings, a 5-run first and a 3-run 5th. Well, Trey Hillman with his first win since coming back after spending time with his family in Texas. Can smile after an 8-2 Royals victory. Time now for Boulevard Royals Live.